Ooh, this one is tough. We got Joe Rogan. Poetic Flakko made a video. It say Joe Rogan said something about black people today that's unforgivable. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I fuck with Joe Rogan. And I fuck with Joe Rogan because when I was transitioning like from 2018-19 to leaving the streets, um I was looking for new alternative ways to think because I kind of realized like hood mentality, street mentality put me in a trick bag. I'm a little nigga from Granny's house. I'm 30 years old now. I ain't no little nigga, but I was a kid coming from Granny house. Grew up in the hood next door to a crack house. Then I grew up next door to a smoker house. Even though my granny tried to show us a better life, she did. Raised us in church. I was pretty much a product of my environment, end up doing my thing in the streets, and eventually realized it wasn't for me. I ended up getting a job, and I was kind of like in a crossroads. I don't know if y'all ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was kind of like Zuko. I was when he was sick, when he was in the Earth Kingdom, and he was going through that metamorphosis. His uncle called it a metamorphosis. I was going through a metamorphosis trying to become a better man. And Joe Rogan, I started listening to his podcast, and that shit really helped, bro. Just out of the box thinking. It wasn't just, hey, go get you a job and think this way and be this type of person in terms of a regular civilian. It was a kind of just chase your passion, follow your passion, be good to people. I thought he was overall positive while not being holier than thou and preachy. I thought he was just a good introduction to being a civilian that's just not kind of corny, Even though he was white, I feel like he spoke up for a lot of struggles I was going through as a black person in terms of systemic and just a way of thinking. But I'm finna get into this video. This was a little long, but I just had to speak my piece on Joe Rogan. I've been kind of falling off of him lately because yeah, he just got old white man money now and he's hanging around with billionaires. So yeah, his tune has changed on a lot of things. So yeah, but let's get into it.
The racist comedian Tony Hinchcliffe made an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast to talk about why black people hate him. And this conversation, I'll be real, was a betrayal from Joe Rogan to black folks, man. Because black folks, we rock with Joe Rogan.
Okay, let me pause it here. Let me pause it here. Black folks rock with Joe Rogan. I don't know black people as a whole, but I know I did. It was some comments that said, "What weed? No, you okay?" It say, "Bro, these comments are cooking Flacco for that goofy comment." And I love to see we on the same page. Flacco, you gotta stop with the weed. See, that's one thing about black people because Joe Rogan, he is kind of tripping now, but he wasn't always tripping, and he was saying some positive things. Black people live in such a bubble when it comes to like um outside the box thinking. And black people really only pay attention to black people shits, but it was open-minded black people that fucked with Joe Rogan before he went is super conservative MAGA.
Joe Rogan has had his past transgressions, but Joe Rogan has always been really progressive up until recently. So we always rock with Joe. Like Joe Rogan has always been the friendly white man that black folks rocked with. Mm-hmm. This conversation, man, Joe Rogan really showed his true characters, bruh. Joe Rogan really betrayed us. So Tony Hinchcliffe starts off this conversation, by the way, not touching on how his comedy special flopped. Right, he did an entire
bro, and it's one thing about Joe Rogan though. I have to be 100% a buck on. The dude is not a good comedian, bro. I remember him from Fear Factor and the Joe Rogan podcast and the UFC. Bro, it's okay. You got 3 jobs that you're fucking great at. You're not great. Oh, this one jumped up to 666. Hell no. You are not good at stand-up comedian. As a stand-up comedian. I'm just gonna keep it a buck.
Entire Netflix special that recently
and the people he rock with are terrible comedians too. Most of them
dropped. Again, more racist jokes. Making black folks the butt of the jokes. The Netflix special flopped. Even the racist people were like, really, bro? Like, you gonna give us this?
His clip is
we
garbage.
Appreciate the racism, man, but can you make it funny? So the special flop, nobody watched it. Black folks ignored it. So he's on Joe Rogan now to talk about how he's being unfairly attacked by black folks, taking no accountability whatsoever for what he did at that Kevin Hart roast.
So what's it been like the weirdness the post-roast weirdness?
I'm always surprised by these things. I'm always surprised that they last so long, that anybody's talking about it. It's so bizarre. I was surprised with the
What's blurred out?
Dang thing. I was surprised at
Is
the
it like a
Trump
logo?
thing. And this one is really surprising because with other ones, they're like, there's a time and a place for jokes like that or this or that or whatever. And this is the time and the place for it, is like the roast of Kevin Hart. You know, I'm going to go for it.
Tony Hinchcliffe do be like overdoing it with the race jokes, and it's kind of like just that crowd in general.
Y'all must think y'all talking to dummies or something, man. Y'all must think that people who are listening to this podcast are just dumb to try to get that off. Oh, I could never imagine in my wildest dreams that people will be upset at this joke. You, as a comedian who's aware of your public perception, you are aware that people view you, at the very least, an insensitive prick who don't like black people. That's the very least. The worst they think.
I agree, and he leaned into it. I agree.
Is they think you are a white supremacist. So you understand how people view you. You understand the public perception of you, especially after that Puerto Rican joke. But yet, when you was writing down this George Floyd joke to perform it on Netflix, you couldn't, in your wildest dream, think of a day where people would be upset about this George Floyd joke.
Cosby Hart is a black comedian from Philadelphia, and like Bill Cosby, women don't know when Kevin is inside of them. You've done good, though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
We despise and hate racist people all across the board. But you gotta have some level of appreciation for the bold and defiant and proud racists. Like the dude who would tell you, hey, I'm racist, right? Like, for example, and this might sound like blasphemy, Chud the Builder, who go out and call black folks the N-word with the hard R, he is outside proud in his racism. You know why? You know why I appreciate that more than what Tony Hinchcliffe is doing? Is because it gives me an
fuck all that. Fuck Chud the Builder,
to face my enemy head on.
I agree with that to a certain extent.
That's what you want, cool. This is what I don't like you. We enemies, bet. But Tony Hinchcliffe comes outside, and every time he opens up his mouth, he's disrespecting black folks. And then hide behind, it's just jokes. I don't even know why they are upset. Black folks are the only people that are hilarious to make fun of. What about 5'1", nasally white boys who look like mole rats? Right? Ain't no jokes about them.
That was all right,
You should have plenty. That's your reality. Look in a mirror. But this dude, for some reason, is a coward. He doesn't want to just fess up. Hey, I make fun of
I'm here for the Joe Rogan. I know Tony Hinchcliffe sucks.
Just own up to it. Now, Joe Rogan, I'll be real. I'm even more surprised at Joe Rogan. Because Tony Hinchcliffe being a coward, surprise, all right? Like, duh. Now, Joe, we rock with you, Joe. Like,
I do. I used to, for sure.
You will be complicit in this. Because what Joe Rogan will proceed to say, it doesn't come, but at some point in this podcast, Joe Rogan responds to Tony Hinchcliffe delusions, and he feeds into it, and he makes black folks the villains, and Tony Hinchcliffe the hero.
That's it. I did a Kyle Rittenhouse joke. I did this, and then this one, people are offended or something. I don't know. And yeah, if you just watch that clip on my dismount, it's a crazy clip. But if you watch the entire flow of the roast set, it's just one last departing joke, which that's my thing, man. It's like, I knew Earthquake would be standing up on his feet like he was halfway through my set. There's standing O's that are happening during my actual roast. And on this.
Now do y'all see why the Sambo is so dangerous? Because the Sambo gives them validation to do this nonsense. Earthquake standing up and giving him a round of applause as he says the George Floyd joke, tells him black folks is cool with this. If I disrespect black folks,
I don't like that one person representing us all.
They love when I make fun of them. They think of me as the cool white guy who can make black jokes. You see why Sambos are so dangerous? That's why we shouldn't play with a Sambo, man. There should be no playing with no Sambos out there.
But see, I don't like all that calling niggas Sambos and stuff like that because I get it. We don't need to stand with the white people doing all that shit, but we don't need to stand with the black people doing like the Young Miami shit and shit like that either. But it's like, I don't know.
Because these people work against us. They work to our detriment. He is literally using one of the Sambos who gives you it's just jokes. What are y'all talking about? It's just jokes. How comedians can make jokes now? Comedians can make jokes now? What are those? They're using them to justify them disrespecting us. And you know the number one sample they used? Now, she's a repeat offender. Tiffany Haddish. That's the first person they brought up
as
to
a kid,
justify why
as kid,
his
Tiffany
George Floyd
Haddish
joke
was
wasn't that
cool,
bad.
but she's
Tiffany
bad.
Haddish liked it.
And so, you know, for people to nitpick that joke and be offended, and it's funny because it was a lot of comedians, a lot of black comedians.
Oh
like,
my,
I'm upset about
yeah.
this.
I don't like
they
that
made
shit.
their videos, which is
They
just
don't
hilarious.
represent
They're not
all
on the
of us,
roast.
bro.
They're not in attendance at the roast.
You saw Tiffany Haddish.
That was the best one. Nobody handled it better than her.
Specifically about the George Floyd joke, what are you thinking? Is it just comedy? Should they have been a little less?
I think it should have been shorter. The show was too long.
Okay.
I mean, I was sitting there the whole time. I had to pee. I didn't hear the George Floyd joke because I had to pee so bad.
So you went to the bathroom with
yeah,
that?
I was a glorified seat filler, and I was tired.
Well, also, I mean, Lonnie and other people were like, oh, maybe it was a little too racially motivated. What do you think as far as like the jokes? Is this just comedy, or are people taking it too seriously?
Is this all comedians saying it that wasn't invited?
That's the comedian Tiffany Haddish.
Bro, that was her version of the Sean O'Malley walk-off KO.
I love it. I love it.
Man.
Because there were so many people on it, and it was such a long, big roast. You know, they set you to an allotted time. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something I don't normally do and blast off more jokes per minute than I normally do. Instead of milking it and getting applause breaks and things like that, I'm just going to create a bang, 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 bang final stand of things. And you know what's funny is that I have something that's supposed to offend everybody. Like, I don't want you to like 100% of any of my jokes.
Tiffany Haddish should be ashamed of herself, man. They used Tiffany Haddish to reaffirm what they already said, which is the only black people that are upset at this are the black comedians who couldn't get in the room, and they
Yeah, I
just
don't like
jealous
that.
because I'm Tony
Yeah, I don't
Hinchcliffe and
like
I'm
that.
awesome. Tiffany Haddish, the Sammo, gave that man an out. Well, Tiffany Haddish said the only people upset at the George Floyd joke are the people who are jealous of me, and I agree. This is just out of pocket, bro. Now they continued, and dude, for some reason, this is what I don't understand, right? He goes and he says, "Well, it's my intention to make people upset at me. It's my intention to be hated and be the heel." Well, if that's your intention and you succeeded at it, then why are you crying? Then what's all the crying about?
It's because he's just a bad
Man, I don't know
comedian.
why they
He
don't
sucks
like
at
you.
comedy.
You said it
Joe
was your
Rogan
intention.
sucks at
You said
comedy
you were
too.
doing things deliberately to make people dislike you and to make people hate you. Right? You did the George Floyd joke because you understood that joke would get you hated, and it's insensitive and it's disrespectful, and people wouldn't like it. You did it because of that reason. Why are you now trying to play naive here? And he would also say some nonsense like, well, I
Damn
made
dog
a
going
Kevin
crazy in the
Hart
background.
joke, I made a Charlie Kirk joke, I made jokes about everybody. But the Charlie Kirk joke, and we covered this in our last couple of videos, but even with the Charlie Kirk joke was a joke disrespecting black people. So even when you're making fun of a white man, black folks somehow find their way into the disrespect.
I'm not that guy. I'm heelish.
See, I didn't
I'm a
even
bad guy.
See, I didn't even listen to the roast of Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart has always seemed like company man comedian. He kind of reminds me of LeBron, like Drake, company man to the bitter end. Yeah.
You're a pro
wrestling
wrestling
fan.
heel. Yeah.
Exactly. So what's funny is people got offended about the George Floyd thing, and a lot of people said, yeah, well, Pete Davidson did a Charlie Kirk joke. And they're comparing these things from two different spectrums. But what they didn't mention is that I did a Charlie Kirk joke in my set. So, you know what
Everybody
I mean?
gets them.
Everybody gets it is always
Everybody
my whole
gets them
point.
jokes.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I said that Kevin has quite the fan base. He has more gunfire at his merch table than Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And
Black people got more disrespected like in that Charlie Kirk joke than Charlie Kirk himself. Right? You're saying what, like black people have this proclivity for violence? We can't control ourselves. We walk around with guns shooting up random spots. It was a black person joke. It
Man,
was not a joke
niggas
about
do
Charlie
be
Kirk.
tripping, dog.
Charlie Kirk got thrown in the mix, I guess, if you want to be edgy. But the butt of the joke was black folks again. So even in your number one gotcha example about how you just make fun of everybody, the example you use makes no sense because black folks were still disrespected. Now, Joe Rogan steps in and Joe Rogan says that the people who are
Okay,
upset
here we
at
go,
him,
because
oh,
I don't
they're
give a
mentally
damn about
ill.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
They just want to be upset. Like these people need help. They're mentally sick. I'm sitting back like, really, Joe? the black folks who are upset at him, we're mentally ill now. We mentally ill. We got a problem because we don't want to be
Poetic
disrespected by this
Flakko
guy
is nasally.
time after time after time because we don't want him to make fun of a dead man who was murdered in cold blood for the world to see. And furthermore, like even if you want to, I guess, make like a harmless joke, if there's even such a thing as a harmless joke from Tony Hinchcliffe, you go as far as to imply that this man is in hell.
Yeah, nah, that's
What?
crazy. I ain't gonna care. That's crazy.
But we're mentally ill for
That's
being upset at him,
crazy.
according
I
to
ain't
Joe
gonna care.
Rogan.
Right.
Saying
So
he
that's
looking
2
up is
years
crazy.
later. So now you're a guy that they go to, like, to get mad at. And there's a bunch of people like that online that's their business. Their business is people are mad at them. They have hot takes. People are mad at them.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've fallen into that category. And so there's going to be people that genuinely don't like what you did and don't like you. And then there's going to be people that are just using it as a commodity. They're just using it as outrage, which is
Yep.
part of what the game
Flakko
is.
doing it right now.
This is what they do. And their engagement, game that they play, and it's kind of what we do in the joke game.
Yeah.
You get engagement, you get people to laugh. You say outrageous things that you don't even really mean, but it's because it's a funny thing to say. It's just like I always say, Bob Marley didn't really shoot the sheriff. You know that, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like it's just jokes.
Exactly.
Like when you say inappropriate on purpose. I mean, that is like everybody used to know that. And if their hot take gets engagement, they're all looking at their likes. Then they just start re-engaging with that subject and going back on it. And this is the real problem. Okay. Good luck with that. That's bad for your head, kid.
Right. Exactly.
Very bad for your head. All those people that I know that are like, especially comics that are doing it, the comics that are doing it, almost all of them don't have good careers. No, all of them.
Right.
None of them have.
Okay,
like,
see,
impressive
that's one
career-
thing
especially-
I don't like with Joe Rogan when he talk about comedians. It's like he's an actual top comedian, bro. I have love for Joe Rogan, but he sucks as a comic, fam. You are the UFC guy. You are the podcast guy. You are the Fear Factor guy. Your comedy is ass. You would never have been nothing comedy-wise if it wasn't for your success elsewhere. Even your TV shows, when you was like on one of them sitcoms, that was better than your stand-up. Everything you've ever done in life has been better than your stand-up, which it seems like Joe Rogan loves the most. Joe Rogan's stand-up is horrible. Joe Rogan's comedy takes are horrible. His best friends in comedy are horrible. It's just, that's a fact, bro. Damn. And I got love for Joe Rogan, but bro, you done switched up and you done changed. I'm not too mad about this right here. I don't like Tony Hinchcliffe. He's lame as hell to me and he sucks. But it goes back to Joe Rogan having terrible comedy taste.
compared to their contemporaries that are doing well. And then on top of it, they're all mentally ill. They're all people that are filled up with pharmaceuticals and they're going to therapy. They're like literally mentally ill and they're online talking about fascists.
Right.
Like stop. Like get your together. Your opinion is not that valuable to people because they know that you're up. Do you not understand that?
I'm so disappointed in Joe Rogan, man. How come it's never, hey, man, leave these folks alone. Hey, man, these folks not bothering you, bro. They not checking for you, man. Black folks not checking for Tony Hinchcliffe. Black folks ain't watching Kill Tony in masses. Black folks not watching his comedy special. Black folks don't care about this dude at all. So you on that podcast crying about how black folks is coming for you when all you got to do is just leave black folks alone.
Okay,
Every
I
time
agree
you
with
open
that.
up your mouth, you got something to say about black folks. Why?
Okay, I agree.
Wouldn't that be the example of mental health? Wouldn't that be an unhealthy obsession? That you got
Flakko
this
fat ass
weird kink and
cooking.
unhealthy obsession with black folks that whenever you open up your mouth, it's something you gotta say about black folks. You are obsessed. That's mental health. Leave us alone. It's simple as that. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this, man. If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here.
Okay, with all that. Okay. I mean, what Joe Rogan was saying there wasn't so bad outside the fact he doesn't know comedy, good comedy, doesn't know that Tony Hinchcliffe says he has like a heel type of shtick, which is kind of garbage. But I'm overall disappointed in Joe Rogan, just how he views himself as a comic and how he views deemed unsuccessful comics. When if you take away Fear Factor, if you take away the UFC, if you take away the JRE, he would be a failed comic. His comedy is terrible. Like, I don't think unbiasedly saying it. This coming from a person. Joe Rogan been part of my life since UFC 2009, the video game. So I mean, I love Joe Rogan. I love Fear Factor. I liked his podcast at first, but he's trended towards the wrong direction. I don't really think he's against black people. Even in this Flacco video, it was more Tony Hinchcliffe just sucks, bro. That's where I'm at with it. I still think Rogan is trending in the wrong direction, but I just think he's terrible when it comes to comedy evaluation, bro. Like Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, like most of his friends fucking suck when it comes to comedy, just in my personal preference. And even with the Elephant Graveyard podcast cringe and how they get on them, yeah, I just think Joe Rogan sucks at comedy and comedy evaluation and peeping like the temperature of the room when it comes to comedy and shit like that. But I don't think this was that bad. I don't think Joe Rogan in this clip went against black people, but I don't know. I don't like Earthquake what he did. I don't like Tiffany Haddish what she did in terms of like they are giving Tony Hinchcliffe a out, and I think Tony Hinchcliffe is fucking garbage as a comedian. That's just me. That's the bigger issue here than Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was used for engagement by Flacco on this one, but it's just me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gone.